I wish to present the report and draft decision for the Committee of Heads of State and Governments on Climate Change for your consideration. The Committee of African Heads of State and Climate Change convened this morning at the Africa Union headquarters here in Addis Ababa. Climate change, Mr. Chairman, remains the existential threat, particularly for vulnerable regions such as Africa. Last year was the hottest on record, surpassing the 1.5 degree Celsius threshold set under the Paris Agreement for the first time. Africa continues to bear the brunt of extreme climate impacts. Prolonged droughts in southern Africa, severe flooding in east and west, wildfires, and expanding desertification have slowed, in some cases reversed, socioeconomic progress across the continent. Meanwhile, global geopolitical uncertainty and rising emissions are complicating multilateral climate action. A decline in global partnerships, coupled with increasing protectionist policies, is diverting investments away from addressing shared global challenges. In response to these realities, the committee convened to assess Africa's climate responses and global engagements and to chart a path forward. The committee reviewed the outcomes of the recent UN Climate Conference, COP29, held in Baku, Azerbaijan from the 11th to 23rd of November last year. Africa presented a unified voice at COP29 with strong participation from African leaders, ministers, and experts. While the conference made some progress on key issues such as climate finance, adaptation, and carbon markets, the outcomes fell short of Africa's expectation. On climate finance, the commitment by developed countries to mobilize at least US $300 billion by 2025 is far below Africa's demand of 1.3 trillion annually. Nevertheless, Africa must actively engage in discussions to ensure that the roadmap towards the 1.3 trillion US dollars target is finalized at the next COP in Brazil. COP29 concluded negotiations on carbon markets, which beyond climate benefits hold the potential to generate significant economic and social gains for Africa. Several high-level African-led events were held at COP29, including discussions on measuring Africa's green growth that was sponsored by Africa Development Bank, Congo-Brazzaville, and Kenya. The recommendations from these events will be considered by the Assembly. The committee expressed concern over the limited investment in Africa's energy sector, which accounts for only 1% of global energy investments, despite widespread energy poverty and Africa's vast renewable energy potential. The committee welcomed the outcomes of the recent Africa Summit on Mission 300 held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, which aimed to accelerate energy access across the continent. The Assembly is also requested to consider institutionalizing Africa's Green Industrialization Initiative and the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Africa, both launched at COP28 in Dubai. In this regard, Mr. Chairman, the committee welcomed the support of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and its partners for these Pan-African initiatives. The committee appreciated the financial and institutional support provided by Afrexim Bank, the Africa Development Bank, and other stakeholders in sponsoring Pavilion at COPs, which serves as a hub for African events. Reports from the Africa Union Climate Commissions under CAHOSCC, including the Africa Islands Commission, the Congo Basin Commission, and the Sahel Region Commission were received, and the committee acknowledged the programs and projects implemented under these bodies. The committee also reviewed follow-up actions from the inaugural Africa Climate Summit in 2023, including the Assembly's decision to hold summit biannually. Within the next 2 weeks, Mr. Chairman, we will receive proposals from countries interested in hosting the second Africa Climate Summit to be held in the first week of September 2025 in collaboration with the Africa Union Commission. Kenya is prepared to host the summit. The committee requests the Assembly's endorsement unless negotiations with other countries are concluded. Excellencies, climate change is now a central issue in international finance, development, peace, and security. It is imperative that the Assembly strengthens its engagement on climate matters. Excellencies, the report and decisions of CAHOSCC meeting previously circulated have been refined. The Secretariat will share the final version for your consideration and adoption. I take this opportunity to thank CAHOSCC members for their active participation and valuable contribution. Excellencies, I submit this report for the adoption and endorsement of the Africa Union Assembly, and I thank you for your attention.